How can Pokemon Emerald version be more challenging? Surely everyone has an easy time getting past Watson, Flannery, and Tate and Liza on their first time, right? I've beaten the game through Nuzlockes, randomizers, party randomizers, and have even conquered the fabled Suslock. But now, I decided to take on the craziest Emerald ROM hack, Inclement Emerald. Inclement Emerald has a lot of changes to the game, such as stronger trainers, competitive gym leader fights, showdown battle gimmicks, Mega Evolution, fake Mons, and a challenge mode. That's a lot to take in. But I think it's better for me to show you what I put up with rather than simply describing it. That being said, I decided to play this game in challenge mode with strict level caps and using HardCore Nuzlocke rules. Pause to see them listed. Oh, and I guess I should mention that I'm playing this without trainer documentation or a showdown calculator. This is going to be a lot of mental gymnastics. In simpler terms, I'm going to go more insane than a Silver 1 League player in gold promos. One of the amazing things about Inclement Emerald is that the game gives you the option to choose a starter from generations 1 through 7. And with so many choices, I figured it'd be a great idea to let Twitch chat choose which one we started each attempt with. After a couple of failed attempts going through Litten, Poplio, Torchic, and Totodile. Listen, I love Totodile as much as the next person. It was the first Pokemon I even started playing Pokemon with ever. But it literally does nothing. So, in the final attempt, we ultimately chose to go with Bulbasaur because it has a decent level up moveset for the early game and gets access to the ability Thick Fat. Despite us getting a Kanto starter, our rival will always get the Hoenn starter that's super effective against us, but that also gives me another reason to be excited to start with the Grass type. God bag, please. Oh, that's a big swole boy. Now, encounters are very interesting in this game because it gives you a regional dex and gens 1 through 7 including a Alolan form. Now, Inclement Emerald is especially interesting in the fact that the idea of encounter routing exists. When do you choose to go for grass, fish, delay for surf, or hatch an egg in an area? After examining the encounter docs, I mapped out my optimal encounters and the order I should go about doing them to min-max the most consistent early game while increasing my chances of getting an amazing guaranteed Pokemon later. However, looking at all our early game encounters so far, I was ready to wipe and start a new attempt. Until we got a Baneri, who I was highly advised is an absolute demon. I was happy to get it because I was hoping to keep it alive long enough to try out its Mega Evolution. But you mean to tell me that this little ball of furry bait is supposed to carry this run? I'll believe it when I see it. Oh yeah, and did I forget to mention that they added new locations to this game? I swear, it was like a fever dream, but what in the hell is Sea Spray Cave? Anywho, after a couple of attempts, I learned that if I delayed this encounter, that I could get a guaranteed Ice type later in the run, so I opted not to get this one just yet. After assessing the Pokemon that we had and deciding that we needed a strong lead for Roxanne, I headed back to Petalburg to gamble the chance for a Corphish, and least to say, I wasn't disappointed. We got a shiny! I sped up so fast. Let's go! With our shiny new friend, it was time to take on Roxanne, who was never really an issue for me, unless I decided not to play hyper aggressive. The thing about Roxanne is that she has an Aeron whose goal is to set up Stealth Rocks so she could combo with her Tyrant's Dragon Tail, as well as Pokemon who have either amazing coverage or spam Rock Tomb in order to make you want to switch constantly. This is in turn making you take chip throughout the entire fight. This is exactly why we wanted Corphish, because it gets access to the move Taunt and we're able to keep Aeron from using Stealth Rocks. We use our remaining 2 turns to break it sturdy and take it out. This baits out Lilith, who sees a kill with Mega Drain, but we pivot between Bulbasaur into Lopunny to clean up with Cut, which I also forgot to mention is a 60 base power Steel type move in this game. I guess the developers were really smoking crack when they came up with this idea, but at the same time, I have a final evolution Mon in the first gym, so it weighs out. You know, I'm not complaining. And then the Tyrant ends up Dragon Tailing Lopunny out so we can finish it off with one of our grass types. We pivot around the Fire Punch Nose Pass into Wishy-Washy for a kill, and then this leaves Lopunny free to spam Cut for the rest of the fight, taking out all of Roxanne's team and giving us our first gym badge. After saving Pico and heading to Dewford, I picked up a few more encounters which are surprisingly plentiful. On top of there being added grassy patches north of the town, there's even an added fairy meadow that has amazing flying and fairy type Pokemon for Brawley. Well, except for maybe one of them. So we need to get Combi in right here. Nope. It showed the item. Bro, someone clip that, please. But aside from that attempt, this time we got our hands on one of the most busted Mons in the early game, Flabebe, who evolves into Floette just in time for the gym. Now, Brawley, if not approached correctly, can be an absolute nightmare. Unlike the fight in Vanilla Emerald where he spams Focus Punch on his Metatite, this one's capable of setting up screens with Light Clay while rocking the Pure Power ability for juicy Drain Punches and Zen Headbutts. Luckily, the Starly I wasn't so happy about getting earlier had a use here. You see, in Inclement Emerald, you get access to an NPC that lets you change your Pokemon's natures throughout the course of the game. Because Staravia is naturally faster than Metatite, I made sure to make Staravia adamant, which allowed it to one-shot his lead, preventing any screens whatsoever. This baited out Hariyama, who we in turn switched to Floette holding an Eviolite. Now this is where I started learning that the AI in this game can get pretty greedy. You see, when a Pokemon on the enemy team has a setup move and doesn't see a possibility of one-shotting or even doing half of your HP, it will prioritize using that setup move. In this case, Hariyama is notorious for spamming Bulk Up when against Floette. Since Bulk Up only buffs physical defense, we were able to take it out in 3 Draining Kisses, leaving the fight healthy. The biggest threat with Breloom is it sleep locking you with Spore. However, Exeggutor is not affected by it just because it's a grass type, and then the psychic typing is a nice plus to resist fighting type moves. That means we're able to go in with a nice Psyshock in order to take it out in one hit. Using Staravia, I was able to get an Intimidate on Dua and luckily finish it off with Ivysaur. And just like how Hariyama spammed Bulk Up, Hitmonchan did the same thing, so we took it out with Draining Kiss. All that was left was to switch to Gyarados and spam Bulldoze to take out Lucario and get our second gym badge. Like, I swear, I have this early game down to a T, and I'm so glad I don't have to go back to it. That said and done, we delivered some papers and had to battle some grunts. Plus, Archie? Luckily, we let Gardevoir, who with the added fairy typing one-shot both Mightyena and Sharpedo with Dazzling Gleam. But his Crobat was a little demonic. With great coverage and special damage outputs, not many Mons are able to comfortably switch in, yet alone outspeed this demon for an Oko. That's why I opted to just try to dodge those crits with Skill Link Cloyster holding a Rindo Berry, and that let us take it out with Icicle Spear. But the early game isn't behind us yet. We still had one more fight between us and essentially entering the mid-game. The Gatekeeper, an ender of many Nuzlockes. Route 110 rival fight. You see, this rival fight, even in vanilla games, is notorious for ending runs because you risk being yawned, confused, poisoned, or just plain out chunked by damaging moves anytime you try to swap Pokemon. And this fight has some of the same fears. Now, throughout the game, your rival has a very copy and paste team, which just adds Pokemon to it. The thing is, nearly every Pokemon they get is a late game, hyper damaging, outspeeding demon, plus Swellow. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Swellow in this game is kind of a joke in the hands of our rival. For this fight, the demons we really need to be careful for are the fully evolved Serena and Mimikyu. The thing about Mimikyu is that on top of it having the disguise ability, it's also capable of using Bulk Up for damage and survivability. This combo with Drain Punch, Shadow Claw, and Shadow Sneak for securing kills means one wrong play and this thing can easily reverse sweep your team. Serena was easily handled by switching Intimidate Staravia into a Trop Kick and forcing it to U-turn after a Wing Attack. We did some pivoting to take out Starmie and bait the Mimikyu in the process, who we just decided that we're going to throw Cloyster in and say good luck buddy. We spammed Icicle Spear while holding a Chople Berry and took it out. When Serena came back out, past traumas told us not to use Ice Shard and call it a day. So I decided to pivot for Intimidate on Gyarados into Zebstrika for a super effective Blaze Kick. Upon arriving in Mauville, we did some gambling and bought ourselves a nice Munchlax with our earnings, who swiftly evolved into Snorlax. Now, I have got to say that I am in love with the quality of life changes for all Pokemon to have max friendship in this game. Because why the should I be walking around with my Pokemon for thousands of steps so I can finally evolve it whenever I could just level it up one time and it's done? With access to daycare, we're now able to hit up an NPC for various random Pokemon eggs. A lot of the Pokemon from these mystery eggs are insane and even have special egg moves. In most towns and cities of this game, there aren't any encounters, so you can pretty much assume that we just hatched an egg there. Now that we're back in Mauville and ready to fight Watson, we just had to smear Wally over the pavement real quick because no one's got time for him. But I do have to add, his Fletchinder and Azumarill hurt. Rocky Helmet Huge Power Azumarill, like the amount of times I've nearly taken myself out for hitting it with a physical move is stupid. And don't even get me started on this Demon Togedemaru in Watson's gym. I swear I've lost more Pokemon to this Iron Rat than I did to Watson himself. And rant over. So let's talk about the gym battle. Watson leads Galvantula and wants to set up sticky webs, which I don't really care about because I opt to use slow Mons for the majority of the fight anyways. The funny thing about Watson is that a lot of his Pokemon were given so much coverage for their weaknesses that they all only know Volt Switch for their electric type moves. So in most cases, his Mons never use Volt Switch unless you have high immunities and he needs to swap Pokemon. This means our Zebstrika lead is able to take out Galvantula and Rotom with Blaze Kick easily. On Raichu, I swapped into Executor who put it to sleep and fragged with Seed Bomb. Snorlax hard-walled Manectrix Aurora Beam and Flamethrower due to Thick Fat. But unfortunately, it got burned on the very last turn. And I'd normally use Snorlax for Magneton and Lantern because it's a hard counter to them. And normally I would have Snorlax use Rest in this case, but Magneton's faster and always prioritizes setting up electric terrain if it doesn't see a kill. Simple enough, Hariyama takes out Magneton and we finish the fight by making thick fat Ivy sit on Lantern for our third gym badge. Now that's a hell of an early game. And what better way to celebrate other than getting more encounter? And why does this trainer have 3 Sturdy and an Alolan Graveler with Explosion? Only Explosion! Onward to Meteor Falls. Wait, you mean to tell me I need to have a tag battle with my rival here? And I get to only use 3 Pokemon? This is where Inclement Emerald really turns up the heat. Get it? Because it's Team Magma and I'm fighting a Sun team. Breaking down the fight, because the enemy's strong lead, I opted to find a lead that would allow Blaziken to be useful. Leading Florges, I'm not only setting up Misty terrain so our Pokemon don't get hypnotized by Ninetales, but also ensuring that the Escadrille will target my slot with Iron Head instead of bulldozing. In preparation for Iron Head, if Blaziken didn't kill, or if it still decided to bulldoze, I swapped into Gyarados for an Intimidate plus immunity. Blaziken beat Escadrille turn 1 and we were all set. Or so I thought. The issue here is that Blaziken has Blaze instead of Speed Boost, and our rival literally has Speed Boost in later battles. This allowed Shiftry to outspeed and get an Air/Flinch on it. This wasn't looking good as Blaziken fell the next turn. Following that, Mimikyu saw the kill on Ninetales, who I wanted to leave up, and immediately made the fight scarier as Crocodile comes out with a huge Intimidate and potential Thunderfang. I was forced to then switch into Venusaur and begin the steering session. We took out Shiftry to bring Weezing in, and the Sun boosted Firefang ate through Venusaur's HP bar. I needed to get an Intimidate off, and luckily Starmie was able to take out Weezing. All that was left was to focus the right side down with Demon Starmie. I have to fight that Starmie later, and I am not looking forward to it. It is time. Time to fight the big bad cool boss ace psychic gym biker Magma leader who I didn't know was a male character until chat corrected me over and over again. Tabitha. Tabitha, who's light years more difficult to fight than Maxie, has a demonic sand team that's very bulky and packs a punch. After creating a Copium team and using multiple pivots taking Sandchip and slowly working at his Pokemon, we had to make the executive decision to sack Scrafty. Yeah. Life Orb, Sheer Force, Jolly, Walmart, Knuckles is so hard to deal with without a physical wall or a Mon who's faster than it. Unfortunately, all our Pokemon were incredibly low for Steelix. I had to make the decision to use Lantern to take it out. Unfortunately, a Shuka Berry wasn't enough to save it due to a crit and we had to finish it off with Lumineon. But to be honest, I think only 2 deaths in the run just past Big Bad Cool Boss Ace Psychic Gym Biker Magma Leader Tabitha is a-okay. Then Leader Maxi was pretty straightforward whenever we got to him. The inferior physical Crobat was hard-walled by Cloyster, Azumarill casually ate a Solar Beam and one-shot Camera Up, Magmar showed its dodgeball skills by dodging crit, poison, and a sleep powder on Big Bell, and we learned something about the AI when there's choice items. When a Mon is choiced in this game and you're resistant to the move that it's locked into, it's going to force switch to another Pokemon instead of struggling. Since we had Florges out on an Outrage, I knew it would switch into Weezing and use the turn to set up a Leech Seed. Lumineon ate a Thunderbolt and took it out, while baiting an Outrage from Zoilus. Now Florges just wins with what other move than Draining Kiss? Oh, and remember whenever I said they added new locations to the game? Jagged Path now has a new connecting location that leads to a place called like the Ashen Forest, but that one connecting spot got us the most busted Mon in the entire game. Okay, we're doing Flannery today. The evolution of Slugma Balls itself, Magma-Cargoat joined the team. Magma-Cargoat's unironically the ultimate answer to Flannery. I'll just let TikTok me explain this one. Did you know that the evolution of Slugma Balls itself is the absolute GOAT in Pokemon Inclement Emerald? Magma-Cargoat has the ability of soloing Flannery's gym with the move pool of Ancient Power, Earth Power, and Shell Smash. However, normally one Shell Smash wouldn't be enough of a stat buff in order for Magma-Cargoat to both outspeed and one-shot all of her Pokemon. At least not normally, that is. But in IE, Magma-Cargoat has access to the ability Simple, which causes drastic stat changes to a Pokemon. This means that Magma-Cargoat's not just raising its attack and speed by 2 stages, it's actually raising it by 4, while lowering its defense and making it an absolute glass cannon. But that's where the White Herb comes in. White Herb resets all the defensive stats that Magma-Cargoat lost whenever it used Shell Smash. That means that now it's an absolute demon that could one-shot all of Flannery's Pokemon. So go ahead and hit that like and follow button for more Nuzlocke and ROM hack tips. Oh, and speaking of liking and following, can y'all please hit that like and subscribe button? I'd really appreciate it. Leaving a comment would also help so much. Thanks in advance, and let's continue with the video. It died. Now, don't get me wrong, Magma-Cargoat really is the answer to 6-0 this gym, but I forgot to bait the Endure on Blaziken and ended up getting Speed Boost reversaled, so we still beat the gym, but we lost Magma-Cargoat. Okay. Now this is the part of the game where we were putting an absolute boss rush. Going between Norman, Shelly, Satan, and Winona. Well actually, I guess the boss rush really began at Big Bad Cool Boss Ace Psychic Gym Biker Magma Leader Tabitha. But we were also reaching the point of the game where I had never seen anything before. So soon, these aren't gonna highlight as much of how I prepared for a fight, but rather how I steered them and used game sense from a team that I just said, hopefully this works. Cue the music. Norman isn't that bad unless you decide to let his belly drum Linoon E-speed you to death, or let Mega Kangaskhan stay up long enough to seismic toss you for consistent 90 damage. Side note, not many Pokemon have an HP bar capable of eating 2 seismic tosses, let alone be able to deal the damage to one-shot it. However, this is where the true GOAT of Jagged Pass arises. Komomomomomo is capable of setting up a D-Dance and taking everything out with Drain Punch. Shelly, my GOAT, Demon, has a Hail team that sets up Aurora Veil. If you've ever played VGC and Sword and Shield, you probably hated Aurora Veil G-Max Lapras. On top of this, Hail has been buffed so ice types take 50% reduced physical damage. So our thick boy Snorlax comes back to the fight. We spam Brick Break, so it hard locks Ninetales into spamming Aurora Veil. After eating a crit, Lilligant cleaned up on Crawdon. And you remember how we said we delayed Sea Spray K for an Ice-type Pokemon? Avalugg, or Table, in Hail is able to eat anything Mega Beedrill throws at it. Did I forget to mention that Strength's essentially a Rock-type close combat in this game? Smoking crack. And this is where I faced my wall. May is where we lost attempts 4, 5, 6, and 8. Remember how I said she has Pokemon that do a lot of damage and move very fast? Let's introduce a new pseudo-legend to the game. Vikavolt is a personal favorite of the creator and was buffed from 43 base speed to 109. Not many Pokemon are capable of outspeeding this demon at this point in the game, and those that can, just can't one-shot it. Because of Energy Ball, most rock types wouldn't be able to touch it, and using fire isn't an option because it's normally raining on the route. Did I also forget to mention, it's wearing an assault vest. Other Mons that we have to deal with in this fight are Life Orb Starmie, Grass Gem Serena, YamiK0h, and Mega Blaziken. Oh, and I guess Swellow if you want to count that one. All of which turned out to be plus speed natures. I've been beaten by her Mega Swampert. It's fine. Favorite Potatoer is back. Welcome in. Being cucked by Queenly Majesty. We quad resist. Okay. But Mag, I should have definitely taught it Muddy Water. That's where I messed up. We acrobatics. Sin. Wait, what just happened? Oh boy. I don't know what that ability is. I didn't realize that Queenly Majesty would completely ruin Talonflame's priority given from its Gale Wings ability. And the demon itself. I was tired of losing to this person, so this time, it was personal. The run was going so good, and I had the first half of the game down to a T. I have to pass the Gatekeeper in order to move on. Because Swellow can't do a lot of damage to Zebra, I predicted the U-turn and turn 1 Volt switch. If Swellow doesn't switch, then I should kill it, and if it does, then I get some chip in and switch to the Pokemon that has an advantage. In this case, she brought in Blaziken and I countered with Dragonite. Also, remember that setup trick where a Pokemon will spam setup if it doesn't do a lot of damage? Because of multi-scale and resistances, Blaziken used turn 1 to set up Sun, which we in turn used to frag it out with Wing Attack. This baited in Starmie with Ice Beam and I swapped to Greninja, picked up a kill with Dark Pulse, and then it transformed into Battle Bond Greninja. On Serena, we pivoted back into Dragonite holding a Chardy Berry in order to eat a Strength and finished it off with Wing Attack. YamiK0h's hard walled by her table and Florges unexpectedly forced to switch to Vikavolt. Unluckily, we took 2 crits and ended up losing the early game GOAT. Greninja after Battle Bond outsped and took revenge, then proceeded to finish off Swellow. The demon was defeated and it was time to find our untold hero in the Safari Zone. Some say that it came because of the song. No pun intended. Good morning, Seabat the Shiny Gloom. Okay. Hey, yo! Before fighting Winona, I really wanted to loot the department store for TMs. This meant fighting May's copy and paste team one final time, and I wasn't gonna let her stand in my way anymore. And she called me a bitch. But it's just May, how hard could it be? Are you shopping too? Bought a whole bunch of dolls and posters. Of course, I've also caught a lot of Pokemon and I'm raising them properly too. Actually, I'm more worried if you're raising Pokemon properly. I'll battle with you so you could show me your Pokemon. Can I say no? And she just won't fight me? Will she walk away? Haven't you been raising her Pokemon? Bro, she said that's not very showing as a trainer. Oh, she mocked me. Okay, that's it. We gotta fight her now. Oh, it's personal. No, it's personal. Wait, she leads Vikavolt. Where's the Swellow? She didn't lead her signature Swellow this time. Luckily and unluckily, Vikavolt went for Sticky Web and we OHKO'd it with an Overheat. This baited Starmie and our Pasho Berry let us survive a Water Gemmed Hydro Pump. We pivoted to Greninja, whose White Herb procced and allowed us to outspeed Starmie with Dark Pulse. So we wouldn't risk losing Greninja, I U-turned into Dragonite, and once again Blaziken got greedy and we took it out with a Wing Attack. Like last time, we went table for YamiK0h, and this is where the outplay happened. Wanting to avoid a fighting type move, we pivoted into Gengar, who in theory should wall Serena. But we got so much more out of this switch. Alright, we're gonna read this. This thing normally has high jump kick or something. We're gonna take it. Let's go! Get wrecked! Break your knees! Break your knees! Okay, we go back into Avalugg here. We bring another high jump kick here. Come on, please. Okay. All right, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. HJK. Yes! Into the wall! Queenly Majesty my ass, dude! All that was left was her Swellow, and we had a big bad ghost steel type Cofagrigus to deal with it. Not to mention, it had a subtle surprise to it. Are you physical? Oh, it's too free! Oh my gosh, they kept physical Swellow? Okay, I need to write that down. This May has physical Swellow. Oh, let's just power gem it. Oh, she's scared. She's scared. She's scared of the goat. It's October. Taste some American Spirit Halloween. Bro, it did even less damage. She probably has guts, and I think she did less damage with that brave bird. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, this is shopping mall May, Kaname. I had unintentionally 200 IQ'd Mummy onto Swellow when it brave birded me the first time, so that explains why the second brave bird did less damage. Anywho, that's why her Swellow is useless. In like 40 minutes, let's go. I hope y'all have a lot of fun with it. Wait, it's a double battle! Why? Winona is up and it's a double battle. This is exactly why I was so happy to get the Protectium from the department store. Although I feel like my lead was less than optimal for this fight, everyone was telling me, you're not gonna beat Winona first try, she's just a demon. But we had Coffin on standby for us and a Dream. I assumed she'd have a water type somewhere on her team, but never in her lead. Emolga got flinched by Rock Slide on turn 1, and Sandslash not only dodged Rock Slide flinch, but also Waterfall flinch while holding a Pasho Berry. This allowed us to get Stealth Rocks up, which would deal a lot of damage to her team, and also clear any Focus Ashes we may deal with along the way. The MVPs of this fight were a combination of Coffin and Table. These insanely bulky Mons benefited from each other, as Table was able to get off avalanches and recover stall, while Coffin nerfed her Gyarados with the Will-O-Wisp. Table baited super effective moves while Coffin took out Hawlucha, and Stealth Rocks broke Dragonite's multiscale. With that down, all it took was one avalanche. This was kind of rinse and repeat for the rest of the fight, but when one was protecting, the other was fragging. Mega Altaria came out and we swapped into Audino to soak up some of the damage. Her Emolga came out just to die to Ice Beam, and a huge Moonblast took out Altaria. I think we kill here. Bro! What is Mega Audino? Yo! Continuing with the Hoenn lore, it was time to battle Matt at the top of Mount Pyre. And you guessed it, he has a rain team. Drizzle Pelipper is the least of our worries as it dies to a single discharge. And this is the part where I expose that I don't have any knowledge of Pokemon past Generation 5. Because what typing is Heliolisk? Heliolisk is an absolute demon to his team. But with the power of friendship and perseverance, our Flygon was able to elevate to new heights to fight it. Our Digivice reacted and Flygon became Mega Flygon. TM. With our new base speed and speed nature being 1 point higher than Heliolisk 109 base speed, Flygon was able to take it out and outspeed everything on their team. How's it faster? We lost Flygon to Swift Swim Seismitoad. Table was up and landed a sweet avalanche crit on Seismitoad to get it out of there. Now, this is where Delmise comes in. This monster has Steelworker paired with Anchor Shot, but Table simply doesn't care about that. Get out of here, Delmise. Emolga took out his Toxicroak, who got greedy with bulk ups. And I never considered the possibility that he could also Digivolve. Matt took another one, destroying Emolga. Kommo came in and finished the job with Drain Punch. At this point in time, I had no idea what was in store for me at Magma Hideout. I lost many Pokemon to optional trainers. And then, it happened. Oh wait, this is an admin fight. It's Courtney and Tabitha? I didn't think that these trainers were going to be Courtney and Big Bad Cool Boss Ace Psychic Gym Biker Magma Leader Tabitha. This was going to be messy, but we had one specific Pokemon on our team ready to fight. How do you beat a sun team when you can't change the weather? You out-sun it. After an unfortunate hypnosis on our turn 1 switch, Kommo was unable to reliably stay in. However, Seabat had Chlorophyll and paired with Goodra was able to take out their leads by outspeeding with a lot of damage. Following up, we had Demon Croc and Walmart Knuckles to deal with, but the AI threw and double targeted Goodra while Seabat was low. This allowed Seabat to take out another, and Croc continued to target our Protectmon. A huge Giga Drain on Croc got them down to their final 2 Pokemon. Mega Steelix and Mega Houndoom, however, are nightmares. Both are extremely powerful and deal just a lot of damage in general. Mega Houndoom was simply too fast and Heat Wave took out Seabat. At this point, I had to make a decision. Things are going to die. I decided to save Table for all it's done for me, and Goodra was lost in the process. However, Houndoom's damage does come with a price. Its ability's Solar Power, which means it takes Sunchip at the end of every turn. I needed to get both Steelix and Houndoom to double target a Protect slot badly so Magmortar can continue dealing damage freely. This allows Magmortar to chunk Steelix, and Houndoom dies to Sun the next turn. We finish off Steelix, and that's the Demon Double. Get the out of here, Big Bad Cool Boss Ace Psychic Gym Biker Magma Leader Tabitha and Courtney. Seabat fell so we can run, and we did so headstrong. How hard can Maxie actually be? Alright, let's do this. What? Why? Who gave you a Groudon? Maxie had a Groudon, and this meant it was probably another Sun team. My timbers were shivered, but I was determined to win at all costs while losing as little friends as possible. After chipping with an Avalanche, I had to switch into Kommo, who finished the job on Groudon. This allowed Gardevoir to switch into Hydreigon and take it out with Draining Kiss. Dragonite clutched up by dodging Victory Bell's Sleep Powder and taking it out. Lycanroc, however, with the Rock-type Strength, did a number on me. Remember, Strength drops defensive stats like Close Combat in this game, and Marvel Scale Milotic was able to recover stall it enough to where Surf killed even in the sun. His Mega Camerupt, however, proved to be a huge problem. Fire Blast in the sun did a lot to Dragonite, and it had Solar Beam to deal with ground or water types. Not to mention that it's a special wall. We needed a clean switch, but also chip on Camerupt, so we decided to sack Magmortar in this fight. Then we took the revenge kill with Milo. Table once again walled his Crobat, and I was relieved to make it out with only 1 death. Aqua Hideout also reaped us of a lot of our Pokemon. I tried to develop a team that could beat Matt again, but just higher level. Predicting a Pelipper lead, I used Gengar with Thunder to take it out. Abomasnow took out the Seismitoad, but created a new problem. Because of Snow Warning, Heliolisk Weather Ball was Ice type and nearly took out Kommo. I had to rely on Thick Fat Venusaur's Earth Power to secure the kill after Life Orb chip. Then opted to use Table again, but I switched into a Steel Gemmed Anchor Shot. This did a lot of damage, but I completely forgot that I had Hail Up, so Table once again did not care after the first one. Accidental 200 IQ plays paying off again. Because of this, I was able to eat Drain Punches and take out Toxicroak. His Chonkerdo still proved to be a problem, however. This is an AI greedy moment punishing us. Because I can't kill Avalugg, it begins to use Dragon Dance and set up. We needed Audino to clutch up and Baby Doll Eye spam. For those that don't know, Baby Doll Eyes is a priority attack dropper. We sacked Audino, but got Gyarados down to normal attack. We triaged and made an executive decision here. Oh, I think Abomasnow might actually be the best, right? because I'm in hail, I have better chances of surviving, and then Woodhammer Sack. Okay. God, you are the GOAT. Let's go. All right. Thank you, Obama. You fought hard. We were making progress the late game and had it out for Tate and Liza. The gym is notorious for ending runs in the base game, and it's just the same in IE for unexpecting players. However, through an anonymous tip, I was told that this was an inverse battle. For those that don't know, inverse battles are Pokemon battles where type effectivenesses are reversed. This means fighting destroys Psychic and Psychic claps Dart. And this is where that Baneri we caught really begins to shine for late game. By pre-damaging Lopunny and Como to 1 HP before the fight, I was able to take them out by spamming stab max damage reversals and returns on their Pokemon. The Space Center was really tricky as there's a 3-battle Magma Gauntlet followed by a Maxie and Courtney tag with Steven. Apparently, after talking to a lot of my friends, Steven is really trash for this fight. But in my case, Steven actually popped off here. We made it to Seafloor Cavern and it was time to face Archie. Our team was goated with some of the best demons we had acquired throughout the run. Coffin, Como, Greninja, and so much more. Nothing Archie can do will destroy us. No! I see what you mean. Like, she's optional. How's she optional? But she can. Shelly, let me take you out to dinner, please. I mean, Monster isn't optional. Apparently, no one dares to fight her because of how demonic and much of a pain her team is to beat. All I had to do was push a rock in her direction to block her line of sight. We have a lot of goats on our team. There's no way we could lose to her, right? We steered as hard as we could, but unlucky freezes and Empoleon's Slush Rush ability got us to this point. But Greninja had one last thing to say. He wasn't done yet. Battle Bond is truly a busted ability. All we had left was to take out Ludi, and we had a super effective U-turn coming its way. I needed Table to hold and not get burnt this turn. Avalanche took out the Pineapple Abomination, and I had no idea what I was going to bring to Archie now. The run must continue, however, and we still have a lot of options in the box. I assumed that Archie was going to have a Kyogre since Maxie had a Groudon, so I handcrafted a team that revolved around Exeggutor being a goat. I made sure Torkoal had Drought so that way it would override Kyogre's Drizzle ability, and then I gave Exeggutor an Absorb Bulb and prayed to the heavens that I still baited a Water move whenever we switched it out in the sun. Our plan worked perfectly, and Exeggutor got the boost it needed to Solar Beam and frag everything on Archie's team. This was probably the easiest fight out of the entire run. He needs to take lessons from Big Bad Cool Boss Ace Psychic Gym Biker Magma leader Tabitha. Some meaningless lore stuff with Rayquaza happened, and we got to Juan. And I'm not gonna lie, take the rain away from these water trainers and they literally do nothing. This was almost as simple as Archie. I tried fine-tuning my Torkoal lead strat and decided to give the boy Stealth Rocks. We got the Absorb Bulb proc on Exeggutor, and after dodging a couple Hurricanes and an Ice Beam crit, we outsped and Solar Beamed the entire team. I love not having to think for battles. In Victory Road, we sent Wally packing and defeated all the demonic trainers. I'm not gonna lie, Victory Road took me at least 2 hours to make it through because some of these fights lasted forever. Fighting Mega Pokemon in every single fight was disgusting. We finally made it to the Elite Four. After all our endeavors, struggles, crits, and confusions, we played the best that we could to make it this far in this final challenge. My favorite thing about this Elite Four is that it's a true test of everything we've learned throughout the game. How weather teams act, when a Pokemon tries to set up, choice in general, switch AI. So let's introduce the team. I think we're gonna lead with Crobat for every fight. Why is that? Because man has U-turn. Then we're also bringing Big Shark with Protect, Ice Fang, Crunch, Psychic Fangs. We got Swanson to Toxapex, Great Bolt, Toxic Recover, Scald, Baneful Bunker. We got Lopunny with the Lopunite. And we're running Close Combat, Return, Ice Punch, and Fake Out. We're bringing Javi, and we're rocking Stealth Rocks, Rapid Spin, Flamethrower, and Protect. Snorlax. So I decided I'm not gonna give him Slack Off, because I figured that we're just going to run this E4 super hyper aggro. So I know I've been doing stall plays with Snorlax my entire run. I think this is the set. So we're gonna go Ice Punch, Crunch, Earthquake, Fire Punch. So this is yeah, no, this thing's gonna pop off. Sydney. Notorious for being the easiest E4 member, he was ahead of his time in Gen 3 with Dark types being bad due to having physical stats but Dark being special moves. His T-Tar sets up a Sandstorm and Stealth Rocks on me. I went for the early Mega and went all in after using Fake Out. It's fucking Jawbled! This has to kill, right? Like, this is 4 times. This immediately baited his Absol, but my Mega Furry was simply stronger than his. Now that I'm -2, I swapped to clear the Sandstorm and reset my stats in case Cacturne has Sucker Punch. Rapid Spin cleared the rocks, which allowed Crobat a healthy switch in, and then we later finished it off with an Acrobatics. Now we got Greninja to deal with, and it is nasty. Protean Life Orb Greninja hurts. After finding some pivots and having it chip itself, we got it to where Sharpedo was able to safely come in, Speed Boost, and Psychic Fang for the kill. Then Toxapex stalled out both Muck and Mandibuzz. With Sydney down, it was Phoebe time. Phoebe was really interesting as well. After taking out her lead, we swapped into Snorlax to eat anything from Chandelure. Because it didn't see enough damage on Lax, the AI swapped to Golurk, who we got massive damage on. I wanted to take this out with Lopunny, so I pivoted till we got a clean switch. Lopunny took out Golurk and baited Shandy out again. This time, I was prepared. On the Psychic move, I switched to Sharpedo and used the next turn to chip what she brought in and proc Speed Boost. Chandelure kept coming out against Sharpedo, which told me that it had a super effective move. But remember when I said Choice Scarf Mons act weird when there's an immunity? But I think it had a Choice Scarf, and when the AI's slower while holding that, it bugs and also switches. This means I could spam Crunch the rest of the fight for a free Phoebe and use Lax to finish off Chandy when we're done. Glacia was simple. Kind of. We U-turned into Torkoal and cleared Abomasnow's tail while setting up Stealth Rocks. However, her Abomasnow was also choice, which forced Glaceon to come out. Known for being a strong special attacker, I swapped into Snorlax to deal with it. Fire Punches in the Sun do a lot of damage here. Now I know that Mamoswine normally gets access to moves like Superpower, which meant I wasn't feeling comfortable keeping Lax in. It's probably going to use it, so I swapped into Crobat. Knowing I was baiting an Ice move when I swapped into Lopunny with U-turn, Mamo Ice Sharded Crobat on the switch and we avoided a crit which would have killed us. Close Combat took out Mamo and Mega Glalie, calling Abomasnow back out. I didn't want to risk the huge defense boost from Hail and swapped into Torkoal. Funny enough, Glacia also went for the switch and sent out Frostlass. I decided to take a risk here and melt it with a Flamethrower. Expecting an Earth Power, we swapped to Crobat and took out the Abomasnow, then outstalled the Walrein with Toxapex. Not a death so far, and we arrive at Drake, the most overpowered of all the Elite Four members. Drake rocks multiple pseudo-dragon types as well as an Ultra Beast. We take out Dragology with Acrobatics and it tries to set up Toxic Spikes. I'm so happy I have another poison type on my team, or else this would be a disaster. On his Garchomp, I'm forced to switch into Toxapex. However, it's spamming Strength on Crobat, so I utilize Toxapex's Regenerator ability, and I eat through Strength to drop it to the point that Crobat's able to take it out with a U-turn. Now it's Torkoal's chance to set up rocks, and Jesus, this thing packs a punch. Outrage does a lot of damage, and I'm just fishing for crits at this point. Luckily, we were able to stall it out as it died to poison. But this brought in Naganadel. I swapped to Lax and he had to hold it down on the Draco Meteors. Draco 1 procced a White Herb, and Draco 2 brought it down to -2 special attack. This is where our brain really started working. Now, we learned back at Roxanne in an earlier run that if a Pokemon drops 2 stages in the offensive stat that they utilize, then the AI favors switching to clear the debuff. This was my biggest read and gamble of the entire run. If I get this switch wrong and it takes out Lopunny, it's gonna get a beast boost and cause more havoc across the board. Additionally, if he had a faster Mon than this, Chip would also be really bad. Switch, 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 switch. Yes! Yes! The rocks are gonna fuck it up! We got a clean switch and baited out Mons at the same time. Stealth Rocks did its job and got major chip on it as well. We Mega Evolved and used Fake Out turn 1 for some extra chip, and then gave it a big, super effective Ice Punch. You should have been Yachi Berry, Drake. As we finished off the rest of his Pokemon with Ice Punch, Lopunny really proved that it was the best Mon I could have gotten the entire game. It was the final fight. Wallace time. A gentleman's 6v6 if you shall. We have played the Elite Four perfectly up to this point. And the best part of it all is that we have options to sack if I need to now. I know of one Pokemon he has on his team, and that's Mega Milotic. So let's do this. Drizzle Wailord was his lead, so we decided to instantly nerf it by bringing Torkoal in with the heat. We swapped to Pex to stall it out, and Wailord switched. This thing had to be choice. Wallace immediately brought out his ace, who we decided to Toxic Stall with Pex. And it wouldn't be Buffle the Creator's game if the champion fight didn't also have a Vikavolt. We swapped to Lax, who got parried on the switch in. Despite this, we got some huge damage off, but Wallace also switched into a Latios? Wallace felt sentient, as if it actually read my moves, and when it happened... Oh no, that's physical. Oh shit, 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 shit! Lax was down, but it wasn't in vain. With our free switch into Lopunny, we frag Latios with an Ice Punch. When Vikavolt came in, I used Return to take it out. This brought in Wishcash, who we 2-shot with the Giga Drain on Crobat. And then Ludicolo came in next, which I don't know why, but we 1-shot that thing with Brave Bird too. It was only poetic for us to try and end this with our sponsorship, Javi Coffee, who you could get 20% off with code YamiK0h. Link in code in bio. And remember, alright guys, if you want to beat Inclement Emerald, drink Javi. We beat Inclement Emerald, Docless! Now that Inclement Emerald has been defeated, I could rest easy. We got stomped by May, tossed around by Shelly, had multiple times where I wanted to end stream because of all the Pokemon I had lost. It was a journey, and I'm glad to have been able to share it with everyone. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content, hit that subscribe button and I'd appreciate a like and comment as well. I also run these Nuzlockes live on Twitch, where you can find my link in the description below. Y'all have a great one, and this has been fun.